Good evening, everybody. This is Deanna Latson, your Chief Product Officer here at RX, and we have a very exciting webinar tonight all about Rejuveniix. And this is the fight. You know, I kind of wish I had a special bell that goes on for a boxing match or a special boxing match music to play in the background, because this webinar is also deeply personal to me, because not only at RX are we here to provide great products, we are here to make a difference in the longevity of all of you, our customers, our reps, and everybody. And we have tons of people joining us from all over the United States today. So welcome to the webinar, and thank you for joining us tonight. So since it's the top of the hour, let's get started. Rejuveniix versus energy drinks. Why is energy drinks even a topic? Why are we even talking about it? Because the energy drink market is a huge market. These are projections. In 2011, there was $8.1 billion worth of energy drinks sold in the United States. And look at the projections. 10.7, 12 billion. That is a huge market for energy drinks. This is a huge customer base. But there's a problem. The energy drinks today are dangerous. I mean, truly dangerous. Even our own poison control centers are keeping logs of how many people call in complaining about energy drinks. In Australia, the Poison Control Center, they reported in 1 year alone receiving over 297 calls that were serious calls about serious symptoms or reactions, everything from gastrointestinal upset to heart palpitations to tremors to seizures. I mean, these are serious reactions from energy drinks, yet we're selling billions of dollars of these products all over the world. There was a story in the New York Times not too long ago that noted that even our own FDA has received reports of death linked to 5-hour energy drink. I mean, that's a serious risk for drinking a product. So tonight, we have our very own Scientific Advisory Board member, Dr. Marlisa Hurt, on the phone, because I know this topic is important to her as well. And we're going to talk about energy drinks. And I happen to love this image because energy drinks, how bad are they? Could they even potentially kill you? Maybe they could. And Dr. Marlisa Hurt is a fantastic doctor who really knows nutritional medicine like nobody I know, and food and how it affects the body. And I want to welcome Dr. Hurt to the webinar. Dr. Marlisa Hurt, you there?
Yes, I am, Deanna. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. So I know you're not a fan of energy drinks. So where do we begin? Tell us, what's so bad about these energy drinks?
Wow. Well, no, I do not like energy drinks at all. I think it is such a huge, huge misconception that people think that these things are safe just because they're on the shelves of our grocery stores and every gas station. They think because they're so widely distributed that they must be okay and not harmful. But there's nothing that could be further from the truth. There are several countries that have outlawed these things because of the massive health effects that these things have caused. And it really comes down to the combination of the mega doses of caffeine along with sugar and artificial sweeteners and all the other amino acids that they pack in there at just abnormal amounts that cause all kinds of changes within the body that really make your, it's like it's bringing on the very same conditions in the bloodstream that we see in people who are about to have a heart attack or a stroke. So,
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, and they've proven in studies that even just one can of any of these popular stimulant energy type drinks can increase your risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. And even in young people, even in athletes, we look at people who are the most fit and healthy people in our communities, and they've even had people, there was a volleyball player in an Italian case study that that passed out after having a can of Red Bull during a game. And, you know, the healthiest, even the healthiest, most fit people among us are really having terrible, terrible side effects from these energy drinks. And it can become a vicious cycle. People reach for this thinking it's just going to give them a little bit of a pick-me-up. And then, you know, I'm afraid that a lot of our listeners tonight really understand what this vicious cycle is like. You get a little bit of a lift, you feel like you can accomplish a whole lot more, and then you crash and you just feel horrible. And they've tested subjects and found that 1 hour after drinking something like a Red Bull, your whole blood system becomes abnormal, just as you would expect from somebody that has cardiovascular disease. The blood becomes thick, it clumps up, it's like traffic jams in your bloodstream, and your arteries can spasm, and all of those things can set you up to have a heart attack or a stroke with just one can.
I mean, that sounds outrageous, yet people are spending billions of dollars on these products a year. What about people who reach for the diet energy drinks, or what about just the concoctions or even the caffeine content of some of these products?
Well, it's really amazing. You know, the labeling laws don't even require the amount of caffeine to be on the bottle. So people reach for these things, and again, we assume that they're healthy because they're out there, but a lot of energy drinks can contain the equivalent amount of caffeine of 14 cans of Coca-Cola. And
in one energy drink.
Absolutely, and often it's the smaller size, those little shot style things that are even the most concentrated. Those little 2-ounce containers can have the most amount of caffeine and really cause a toxic caffeine type of intoxication. And when you combine, you know, a massive amount of caffeine is, you know, there can be 500 milligrams of caffeine in one can or one serving. And when you think about, you know, the average can of Coke has 35 milligrams. You know, when you have somebody who says, oh, you know, I drink a Coke and that makes me feel good, maybe I'll try one of these things, it'll make me feel a little bit better. And you go from 35 milligrams to 500 and your body doesn't know what to do with that. And when you combine that with the toxic effects of being jacked up on sugar, which we know all by itself causes arterial spasms, which bring on heart attacks and palpitations, and, you know, over time it causes cancer. You know, most people today know, you know, the dangers of drinking sodas that have high fructose corn syrup or any kind of sugar, really. We've been hearing that story for several years now, but a lot of times people really falsely reach for these diet energy drinks thinking, oh, it doesn't have, you know, very few calories, if any at all, so that's the one that's really going to get me, you know, all the lift without adding the lard. And it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, if I really hate energy drinks with sugar, and especially the ones that are fructose-based, because we know that this just drives cancer, heart attack, diabetes, obesity, all of those things that we know just speed up death for everybody over time.
Well, what about the artificial sweeteners? Because I heard you mention that.
Yes, the diet ones are especially dangerous because they create a very toxic environment in the brain. One of the reasons is, you know, primarily we see a lot of people that actually recovering alcoholics can transition quite easily from drinking alcohol as an addiction, and they transition very easily right over to diet soda consumption. And it's a really curious connection, but when you look into it, you understand that aspartame has been proven, which is the most common artificial sweetener, aspartame, sucralose, Splenda, NutraSweet, all those things. They're not exactly chemically identical, but they all fall in the same family of of amino acids that overstimulate the brain and cause brain cell death. But aspartame is metabolized in your body, and it's broken down into methanol, which is wood alcohol. And it's really, really fascinating because when this is metabolized into wood alcohol, the diet sodas and the diet energy drinks, this gets broken down and it satisfies the same addiction centers or the same type of neurological receptors in the brain that alcohol would normally satisfy. So people that transition from alcohol, they may not be getting drunk and getting cirrhosis of the liver from, the actual alcohol component, but when those diet sodas get broken down into wood alcohol, it's kind of like a stand-in type of addiction. It's really, really detrimental because of the way it overstimulates the pathways in the brain. This particular chemical toxin has been called a neurotoxin, and it actually very slowly, it accumulates over time in your brain, and it causes neurons to die every time you have a diet soda or something that has aspartame in it. So it's a very, very serious chemical neurotoxin. And then, of course, a lot of people think...
So wait, let me just clarify what you just said there. That, the reason why alcoholics transition often to diet sodas is because they affect the same part of the brain, essentially some type of addiction cycle. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes. Those receptors in the brain that need to be satisfied when somebody needs another alcoholic drink, those are satisfied by the same amino acids. When those get broken down from the artificial sweeteners, it gets turned into wood alcohol in the body, and it satisfies that same addiction center that gets tripped from alcohol. So it's an addiction that is on the same plane.
One thing not mentioned about energy drinks so often, but it's to be considered as well, is a lot of young people who drink alcohol actually combine energy drinks with alcohol, which quite frankly is a lethal combination. And there's been quite a bit of research now that shows that people who drink alcohol with energy drinks end up feeling alert and capable, making much larger mistakes like driving drunk, and their risk goes way up when they make such a combination. I mean, can you imagine Red Bull and vodka together?
It is crazy, and it's really popular among the club scene. I had an article that came across my desk that said just one Red Bull can kill you, but you'll get there faster if you combine it with alcohol. And the researchers are saying that overloading your body with the heavy stimulant effect as well as the heavy depressant effect of the alcohol can lead to immediate heart failure. And France and Denmark have already banned the sales of these things because of the reported deaths of so many people who've mixed these energy drinks with alcohol. And one of the observations that was reported in Medicine, Science, and Law specifically was on the effects of alcohol and Red Bull combined with some other stimulants, a popular weight loss product that has been banned in a lot of places, but ephedra, but it resulted in permanent and acute psychosis. So it actually can make people crazy with all of these, chemicals that interfere with the neurotransmitters in the brain, and it can cause permanent psychological damage and psychosis. So it's something to think about. If do you want a little bit of a pick-me-up, and nobody's ever thinking or wondering, is this actually going to make me crazy forever when they drink this?
You know what? What kills me is knowing this, that poison controls are watching complaints on energy drinks, that poison control all over the world is watching complaints, that the FDA receives reports of death from energy drinks. Yet, if we go back one slide, look at the growth in billions. Billions. So it really bugs me that it's growing in billions, yet it's so detrimental to our health. And let's ask why. Why is the energy drink market even growing? I mean, what's the underlying cause? People don't feel good throughout their day, right?
Right, right. They don't feel well. They don't know what a good day feels like, and so they're looking for a type of quick fix to bring them up and to help them be able to just function through the day.
Yeah, and see, the thing is people are brainwashed. They think because a product is on the shelf, it is safe for you. You know, it's socially acceptable. And there was a really good article in 2010 issue of the Journal of Addiction Medicine, and it just talked about how it's just so socially acceptable, but it is an addictive drug. These products with the combination of artificial sweeteners and carbohydrates and artificial colors and flavors, which are often petroleum-based, and piling on all that caffeine and often other stimulant ingredients in one can, and people are buying billions of them. It's just, I don't even know what to say.
I really think it's just due to the fact that people don't understand the dangers and what's going on inside their body when they drink things like that. And they don't understand that there are better, healthier choices out there that can also, you know, get them a healthier lift that will enhance their quality of life.
You know, Marlisa, you said something like, nobody knows what a good day feels like. Well, a part of our mission, and I love that phrase of yours, and a part of our mission at ARX is to help people understand what a good day feels like every day. And we designed a product to compete with these energy drinks so that we could save the millions and millions of people who are wasting their money on these products that just break down and destroy their health, yet we give them a product that will give them the energy lift they need, but it's safe. And most people don't know this, it is price competitive. As we move on, and we've just talked about the dangers, and quite frankly, Marlisa and I could talk about the dangers for an entire hour. We could just bring up journal article after journal article after journal article, everything from the FDA receiving reports of miscarriage to consumption of 5-hour energy drink. I mean, it just goes on and on. So we could spend an enormous amount of time talking about how bad energy drinks are, but I think you get the point. But I want you to know that being a part of RX, being here with a community that cares so much about you, we wanted to not only give you a product that, quite frankly, I think you could build an entire business around, especially when you look at the numbers, how much money is spent on energy drinks, and that is why we made Rejuveniix. Let's just look really quick at the energy drink price per serving compared to Rejuveniix. Let's look at Monster at $2.99 a can on average, Red Bull $2.99, Rockstar $3, and what is Rejuveniix for 4 capsules? Comes out to $1.74. So not only did we give you an answer to the people who are drinking this junk, we're more price competitive. I mean, Marlisa, that's awesome, right?
That is an incredible value. And even more incredible, I think, is all of the massive amounts of the varieties of nutrients that we pack in there as well.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So remember, this is the fight between Rejuveniix and energy drinks. Who's going to win? You probably all know who's going to win, but let's talk about, we've talked about energy drinks. What are they full of? Sugar, artificial sweeteners, artificial colors, random amounts of caffeine from who knows what source, all put together with often other ingredients and flavor systems that are petroleum-based into a can for you. And it gives you that pick-me-up you're looking for throughout the day. And then we have Rejuveniix, which we call our energy supplement. So what makes Rejuveniix great? First of all, know that we wanted to create a product that was healthy energy in a bottle. I didn't think it was possible because as we're talking about right now, all the energy in a bottle products on the shelf are total garbage. Not only are they garbage, they're dangerous. So we wanted to create something that was a multitasking supplement, a concentrated grouping of superfruits and natural energy enhancers to give that type of boost. And we're going to talk through Rejuveniix a little bit right now. Let's look at the ingredients in Rejuveniix, and Marlisa, I'll let you talk about, let's start with the energy side of it because we just left the energy drinks. Let's talk about how our energy, because we do have caffeine in our product, but what's the difference?
Well, one of the great things about our energy source is that it comes from a natural green coffee bean extract. And one of the things that I love about green foods is because we know that anytime we see the green, we've got the green light to go for it. And green foods mean things that are alive and vibrant. And when you think about the most nutritious vegetables that give us the most power, that fights cancer and other diseases, it's usually those green foods that are at the top of the list. So we're looking at a green coffee bean extract as opposed to something that is oxidized, cooked, and dead. So the green coffee bean gives a wonderful lift. And, you know, in contrast to the 500 milligrams that we were looking at that would be a massive amount of overdosing of caffeine, this gives about 25 milligrams per capsule or 100 milligrams per serving. And there have actually been studies done with athletes and sedentary people alike testing the effects of this appropriate small lift from a naturally sourced caffeine. 100 milligrams of caffeine every 2.5 hours during your 8-hour day of awake time has been shown even in sedentary people. Now, you know I'm a huge fan of exercise and I want everybody to move their body in some way that makes them feel good and happy. But even in sedentary people, when they took 100 milligrams of a naturally sourced caffeine every 2.5 hours during an 8-hour day, it created a metabolic lift that resulted in 1.5 pounds of fat loss per month. And it also made them much happier at participating in their own life, which means when you take Rejuveniix, it really does help you to feel happier about exercise. And I get that reported from the people that I work with all the time. They really love how much better they feel. The other thing is the L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid, and it is really like conscious compensation for all of that junk that we just talked about. You know, one of my friends at RX has taught me this phrase, that we do the best we can, and when we know better, we do better. And that's one of the things that I love about Rejuveniix, is that it has all these wonderful things in it that really help us. It's like a magic eraser when it comes to the brain chemistry in my book, because L-theanine is an amino acid that actually counteracts the bad effects of a lot of those things that we just talked about that are in those toxic energy drinks. And the brain chemistry that would lead to some type of psychosis or anxiety, high stress, chronic fatigue, all those things that we talked about that were bad side effects, L-theanine really helps to compensate for the body and especially the brain store accumulation of a lot of those bad neurotransmitters that lead to lots of bad side effects. So L-theanine really balances the scales there. And it's been shown to reduce mental and physical stress. We are really governed by our neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are the hormone activity in our brain that comes from the proteins that we eat. And just like we said about how you can't break down those artificial sweeteners, it turns into all these other things. And it really creates like a train wreck in your brain. And L-theanine comes in and it balances and calms. It's really like conscious compensation to bring back the balance to the neurochemistry when you're trying to detox or break away from these addictive substances that a lot of us have consumed in the past. So it's really amazing, the clear thinking ability, the improved cognition, and the mood when you put L-theanine together with a little bit of appropriate dose of the natural caffeine. Those two things work together like the Wonder Twins. It really does. It's been shown to increase the dopamine in the brain. Dopamine is that feel-good hormone that everybody needs. It's been called, we identify it with the primal needs, the things that we feel when we have safe shelter and enough food and caring, intimate relationships. We have enough dopamine in our bodies. And L-theanine has actually been shown to enhance the amount of dopamine circulating in the brain, which means when you take that, it makes all of those other things magnified. It makes you feel better, as well as compensating for helping to sweep out and rebalance the scales from some of those past accumulations of the unwanted things that we might not have known before were so bad for us. So it really does support a cleansing. It really is like a cleansing from the chemicals in fast foods and the flavor enhancers from those types of diet drinks. So lots of studies have been done on theanine showing that it has neuroprotective effects. It actually protects your brain and your nerve cells, and it helps to compensate for a lot of the toxins that are in the foods that we kind of reach for when we're looking for a pick-me-up. So,
you said something that I think is really important, and I want to make sure that everybody really gets the gist of it, because there was a published study done in 1999 where individuals were given a low dose of theanine weekly, a low dose, and when they measured their brain waves, which you were just talking about, Marlisa, the L-theanine produced alpha waves, and the alpha waves are those brain waves that give you a calm yet alert brain state that is required for you to focus on complex tasks versus the other type of waves. And Marlisa just said it, and she said it so eloquently, that it also produces dopamine, and that gives you the sense of well-being. Well, when you release dopamine is when you're eating or when you're involved in intimate acts, like sexual acts, all those good things. I mean, there was a study conducted by Harvard Medical School that said that L-theanine even acts as an immune booster. So let's put it in perspective. Energy drinks might kill you. Energy drinks are monitored by poison control centers. Energy drinks sell billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of product every year. We have Rejuveniix, which has a safe dose, 100 milligrams in 4 capsules. Lots of people, Marlisa, only take 2 and feel great. Or they'll take 2 later on in the day even. Like they'll take, 2 and 2, 4 for an entire day. And they're getting green coffee bean extract. They're getting an incredible dose of L-theanine, which is scientifically tested and fantastic for the neurological system. But they're also getting another ingredient that's combined together in a very unique formula, kava, which is a root that comes from Vanuatu, that gives you also a sense of calm, well-being feeling. Many describe as what you would get in a meditation. So look at our energy combination, because if we didn't even have anything on the left hand of your screen, all your concentrated superfruits, and we just provided you the green coffee bean, the L-theanine, and the kava, it would be worth the $1.74 a serving, especially when you compare it to the $3 a serving for some of the most popular energy drinks. But we go even further, and this unique combination gives people that extra lift, because we're trying to help you know what a good day feels like every day. Helps, like Marlisa said, give that brain a little cleaning, a little more focus, especially, when we want you to be able to focus on complex tasks and be alert in your brain function. And we've given you an herb that helps create a sense of serenity, for a lack of better words. That's an amazing combination, and I don't know about you, Marlisa, but I've never seen a combination like it on the market. Still, there's no combination like it.
No, I have never seen anything like it either, and I feel like the best is still yet to come, because I'm so excited about the health benefits of all of these concentrated superfruits that we have in there. But I just did want to just make a note to the quality of the amazing lengths that you go to when sourcing our raw materials, because I've actually had several people ask me that they were concerned that there has been some reports that kava kava can have some type of negative, toxic alkaloids present. And I just wanted to point out that we only use the very most expensive part of the plant. We use the root extract. And that is because of our pledge to ultimate purity, and there is no concern whatsoever in the root. And that is the most potent part, the most medicinal part, and there is absolutely no concern when you use the root. And when you think about it, if you're using the discarded stem peelings and the leaves, the plant can keep on growing and make more leaves. So obviously it's far less expensive to use the leaves of the plant than it is to harvest the plant and use its root. But I just did want to point out that ours is the absolute top quality kava kava that has the most medicinal properties to it, that doesn't have any dangers of any possible side effects. So
I appreciate that. And what people might not know is we get it from Vanuatu because the soil content is so fantastic, and the actual active ingredients are the highest there. And I've actually been to Vanuatu, and I have sat with the chiefs of that island in a ceremony around a big bowl that might have been had many lips on it for many of hundreds of years potentially, and drank kava kava right from that bowl. So I will tell you, we source it from the best place possible, and Marlisa, thank you for pointing that out. But you know what? I think we've demonstrated really that Rejuveniix, just on the natural energy side, is a value all by itself. But you all know that we create multitasking products that offer more for your dollar. I mean, so you can really make a big difference, because people spend a lot of money to get acai drinks and noni drinks and mangosteen drinks, and they spend a lot of money for those concentrated superfruits in a liquid form, even though many of those liquid superfruit drinks are actually the powdered form, just rehydrated with less expensive juices like apple juice or even water. And so we use a low temperature spray dry technology on these superfruits, and we have actually an incredible dose of these amazing products. And Marlisa, I know you have something to say about not only are we giving people focus, attention, energy lift, and a nice calm feeling, but we've put all this other stuff in the product as well, all these superfruits. What do you think about that?
This is really, really exciting to me. I know, we even see it advertised on television and billboards and all kinds of PBS announcements that we are supposed to eat the rainbow. And I just want to explain, as you look at this beautifully colored slide, you can see all these different colors represented. And one of the reasons why we've included such a wide variety is because every color represents a unique and different antioxidant. And antioxidants each have their own free radical that they will quench. And we know that, for example, cancer is caused by the oxygen free radical. So when we talk about neutralizing these things that cause disease, we need all kinds. We don't want to just protect ourselves against cancer. We don't want to just protect ourselves against inflammation that might cause rheumatoid arthritis. We need antioxidants from a wide variety of different colors and different sources, so that we're casting a really, really wide net that is our safety net that safeguards our health to be able to live proactively. So when I see all these colors, it just makes me really, really happy to know that we're getting such a wide variety of antioxidant support. And all of these fruits, each one has special antioxidant powers to it, and they each have different names. I just want to touch on each one really quickly so that we have an idea of the specific scientific characteristics that have been documented that each one of these ingredients lends. So the acai berry is there to the left. It kind of looks like a dark colored blueberry. And it gives a very rare type of antioxidant. The purple, any kind of the purple or the black fruits, those are really powerful at combating cancer. And this particular berry comes to us from the Amazon rainforest in Brazil. It really helps support natural energy levels as well as beautiful, healthy skin and antioxidant levels and cellular health and energy levels within the cell. Next, the mangosteen. You know, this is something that, like you said, a lot of people will drink these drinks and they're just rehydrated with other fruits to thin them out. And they also are packed with fructose, which we know drives cancer. It drives obesity. It drives diabetes. It creates inflammation. So one of the other things that I absolutely love that we don't have in Rejuveniix is any sugar. We have all of these fabulous antioxidants and this support without any sugar that could possibly cause or trigger any symptoms of inflammation that would fuel disease. So one thing that I really, really am passionate about is when I'm looking for healthy supplements and creating them, I want to make sure that we are not getting a trace of anything bad along with all these good things that we're trying to pack into these multitasking formulas. So some of the unique things that mangosteen contributes, it creates or provides a generous amount of a special type of antioxidant called xanthones. And this has been used as a superfruit in Southeast Asia for at least 2,000 years. And it has been shown to create healthy inflammatory responses and increase the immune function, as well as to support cellular rejuvenation and cell turnover. The Hawaiian noni fruit, that gives us some beautiful bright green. This is a special process. It's actually hand-picked and cleaned and aged in a very traditional method that's been typical of the people of South Pacific for centuries. And this unique novel compound, it's called anthraquinones, contribute to really jump-starting the cells. When these fruits, the fruits and the leaves are layered together and aged, and they yield an extremely potent fermented type of an antioxidant compound, it really enhances detoxification and digestion and supports natural cleansing and supercharges the immune system. From Asia, one of Asia's premier adaptogens is the goji berry. Goji has been used for thousands of years in traditional Chinese medicine, and there's a special type of polysaccharides that give goji juice its power. And there's lutein and zeaxanthine for eye health and carotenoids. These are special antioxidants that not only naturally increase energy without the use of stimulants, but it enhances mood and vision as well as liver and gallbladder health.
And you know, not to confuse anyone, because on the slide we have lycium, which is another name for goji. Goji goes by several names, and lycium is the name we have on our slide, but that's the berry we're talking about.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So another benefit is that it helps to support healthy serotonin levels. And that's that happy, feel-good chemical thing we're looking for, and to know that we can get this from a berry that has all these other great supportive nutrients within it, as well as supporting energy levels and balancing the microbial activity. We pick up food poisoning. The antimicrobial activity or the antiseptic and antibacterial things that are that a lot of these superfruits are known for really does help to safeguard against food poisoning as well. And my very favorite is sea buckthorn. Sea buckthorn is a small bright orange fruit, and its history of medicinal use spans at least 1,500 years, but it's not really just from one country. It spans Asia, Russia, Europe. It's really, really widely used, sea buckthorn is. And because it has had to adapt to thrive in really harsh, cold climates, it has developed a powerhouse of nutrients that helps support the whole body. And it really gives the body the ability to be more resilient in stressful situations in everyday life. And How many of us are overstressed? I mean, it's really become the American way. We're overstressed, we're undernourished, we try to accomplish too much in a day, and we're looking for something to give us that natural boost. And sea buckthorn really comes through because it has 10 times the amount of vitamin C as an orange, 3 times the vitamin A of carrots, and it has a really unique blend of special fats. It has the omega fats 3, 6, and 9. But it also has the really, really rare omega-7. And these omega-7s are a component of human skin. And omega-7s support collagen production and are really important to helping maintain skin's moist and youthful appearance. So not only are we going to make you feel good, we're going to make you look awesome. So we have brought all these micronutrients together from all over the globe with all different colors. Just to be able to provide this really wide variety of antioxidants to be able to combat all kinds of diseases, to combat stress, and just to help you look better too.
Well,
so and all of these things.
That's a nice little mix, right? I mean, you got, you know, at RX we're about prevention, right? That's what we do. We want you to know what a good day feels like every day because we want to provide products that help in the area of prevention. Keep your body healthy so you don't have to worry about what everybody else does. You know, we're not out to cure you. We're not out to, you know, give you a pharmaceutical drug that puts a Band-Aid over a problem. We're out to give you products that act as preventative health products, you know, to help keep your body healthy for a long time. And Marlisa, you did a great job talking about how it's so true. The more you eat from different colors of fruits or vegetables from all over the world, the different types of antioxidants and micronutrients you get. And you get a wide exposure to these, even in Rejuveniix. I mean, there's more acai berry in our Rejuveniix, in one bottle Rejuveniix, than in some wine-sized bottles of acai juice where they charge $50 a bottle for it. Just the acai in Rejuveniix is more than some of those wine bottle sizes. I mean, that's what I mean about value. We've already proved that the energy side of it at $1.74 for 4 capsules, that serving, compared to a Monster, a Red Bull, a Rockstar, just is fantastic. There's no comparison. But now we've got all this other added benefits. And you know, Marlisa, we've had some questions come up while we're talking, and I think they're good questions. And some people are worried that kava kava might be hard on the liver. Are you there? Did we lose Marlisa? Maybe we lost Marlisa. So I'm going to answer that question. When you look at the studies of kava kava, the people that had any type of liver issues were taking a very, very high dose. Also, they already had a compromised liver, usually from drug or alcohol abuse. So that is a great question, and it is on the banned list for athletes, and I don't know about the status of that. That is why we're going to be making a Rejuveniix. We're testing it right now with a few other herbs that we can get approved by the BSCG, so all professional athletes who get tested for drug tests can take it as well. We got another question about if L-theanine can help reduce the addiction to alcohol and wine. I mean, that's a medical claim, but if I have Marlisa back on, I would like her to share what happened in the clinical trial with some folks that were pretty addicted to sodas when they chose to use Rejuveniix. Marlisa, you there?
I am here. Sorry about that. I am back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And I got a question about if L-theanine can help people with some addictions, and specifically alcohol and wine, but we're kind of getting into medical claims, so we can't go there. But what I'd like you to share is what happened with our folks who were pretty addicted to sodas in the clinical weight loss trial when you added Rejuveniix to the mix.
Oh, yeah, this was really, really neat. When we were getting ready to begin the clinical trial, we did have a group of people. Actually, these were also people that were on several prescription medications, so I knew that their liver was pretty heavily burdened with more foreign substances than, the other people that weren't on any prescription drugs. And they also really almost chickened out at the last minute because they were afraid of giving up their diet sodas or their caffeine to be able to participate in the SlenderX weight loss program. And we were really nervous that, that these people were going to quit and we weren't going to be able to start on time because they were just so afraid of giving up their, their alcohol and their caffeine, and specifically diet sodas. I actually had one girl that told me that she went to bed every night with a 2-liter of diet soda on her nightstand, which
no, that's terrible.
I thought, how in the world can you sleep when you're overstimulating your brain cells like that all night long? And talk about not knowing what a good day feels like. This girl was allergic to mornings. She was in a bad way. And we were able to start this group of people that were all caffeine addicts, or that had several different prescription medications as well. We started them on Rejuveniix, and this group of people I was really nervous about. I thought, oh, I don't know if they're going to hang with me and be able to do this. By the end of the first week, they were the happiest people in the whole study out of all the different 4 groups, and they were the only group that really had no complaints whatsoever. We didn't have anybody say, I really miss my whatever, or I'm feeling a little bit of a headache in my period of adjustment in the first 2 days. None of that. The people that used the Rejuveniix, they had no complaints whatsoever from the things that they had left behind. They reported that they actually felt like, I had them keep it on their nightstand so they could take it as soon as they woke up in the morning, and encourage them to just, lay there and maybe do some deep breathing and kind of get used to the idea that a new day had come. But they really felt so happy, and they had no problem. They never spoke of any regret, and I really kind of pressed them because I was curious to see how well it would work. But they were really positive. And most of the people in this group were also on at least one type of prescription antidepressant. So the effect to me was just remarkable with people that were able to give up their addictive behaviors through a lot of these things. And I do think it was because of the L-theanine and what I know about how this particular amino acid really does rebalance and help to recover a more normal type of neurochemistry within the brain. And it does act like conscious compensation to bring back that healthy, clear brain balance that we want.
Well, that's great. And I remember you being worried, and then really that group ending up being the happiest, best group of the entire trial. So,
well, and they ended up losing the most weight. I just wanted to throw that in there too, because that was the only thing that was different. The food, the other supplements, I mean, everything was exactly the same. But the people that took the Rejuveniix did lose just a little bit more than other people that were also doing SlenderX. So it's really...
That's we call it our little secret X factor. So it is great for that. I had a question. How do you feel about people taking Rejuveniix if they're pregnant?
Well, I tend to be really cautious with that. The superfruits, of course, aren't any type of concern because there's no fruit there and it's all kind of antioxidants. But I think I'd be really cautious about recommending Rejuveniix during pregnancy just because I tend to stay away from all kinds of caffeine. I think, the medical literature would say that, one would probably be, one represents about 25 milligrams of caffeine. But, personally, I would stay away from any kind of caffeine.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. What happens if you have somebody who's pregnant who's addicted to sodas or coffee?
Oh, well, I think that this is definitely a better alternative. I know that a lot of the OBGYNs that I've talked to, do allow their pregnant patients to take 1 or 2 cups of coffee or 1 or 2 sodas a day, and I do not agree with that at all. I think, definitely the sugar contributes to inflammation and swelling and fluid gain that makes the mother feel terrible, as well as, the artificial sweeteners. I honestly think taking artificial sweeteners like a diet soda when you're pregnant is like child abuse, because of what I know that those things really are extremely toxic to the brain. And we know that tiny little brains developing tissue, when those cells are rapidly dividing like they are during the pregnancy, especially in that first 3 months, developing tissue has a really huge affinity for toxins, and those type of amino acids that get picked up in the brain like that, they will get soaked up into that little baby brain like a sponge, and you're much more apt to have a baby that's easily overstimulated when it has been growing with a storehouse of these toxic excitatory chemicals. So absolutely not on the diet sodas. And if that is if that's what you're doing, this is a huge, giant step in the direction towards health. So I would say it's a huge improvement over people who are already doing, sodas or coffee and would like to get away from that in order to be able to feel like they would function. This is definitely a much healthier alternative.
One other question is, what age would you think it's appropriate to have somebody on Rejuveniix?
Well, again, it really depends on, what their lifestyle is right now. It can be used as a bridge to get to the other side. I would say not younger than 12, as a rule of thumb. I think we'd have to defer to what legally our labeling allows for.
And it grows as a wild berry. And like so many other wild berries, there's an enormous amount of antioxidants that have especially an anti-inflammatory effect in it. So like all our other superfruits, it has its own unique profile, but they're all in there because of their ability to act as antioxidants in the body. And when you combine those antioxidants with our natural energy, I'll say it again, I'll say it a million times, there's nothing else like it on the planet today. And we've talked about energy drinks tonight. We've talked about how dangerous they are, that even one can leave your health a wreck. And Marlisa, when you and I were talking earlier, you use a term I like so much, that these energy drinks are like a train wreck in your neurological system. Honestly, they're a train wreck for your entire body. And Rejuveniix not only gives you energy and antioxidants, but it's so positive for the neurological system. And so if you look at the price, you look at how large that market is, we can't help but to say that Rejuveniix wins. Energy drink goes down, Rejuveniix wins. And, I know many of you have heard me say it before, but we're not just about giving you great products. We're about improving the quality of your life and hoping that you'll live a longer life and hoping that you'll live a life of prevention. Because if you live a life of prevention, you will feel great. You'll be one of those grandparents that are still vibrant and playing with their grandkids. And we don't like to forward think sometimes. We're kind of in the moment folks. But when it comes to taking care of your body, we really should forward think. So I'm going to turn it back over to Marlisa. And, Marlisa, any last words of wisdom to end us out tonight?
Well, the daily choices that result in health and wellness are, I think, one of the best gifts that you can give yourself, not to mention all the people around us that care about us. And because the human body is so extremely adaptable and resilient, a lot of times we don't realize how, a small choice like taking an energy drink can really have long-term consequences. But, once the cells are overburdened, and with toxic chemicals and years of programming them with these toxic substances, leads to reduced function and disease. And it can take a lot of work to undo that. Energy drinks, they can, from repetitious exposure over time, these things might seem like a small insult, but over time they really do lead to diagnosable diseases, and we don't really know when we're going to wear our bodies down to the point where we might instigate a traumatic, life-changing or life-ending type of experience. So wellness is a choice, and it's a choice to live optimally every single day. And because diet and eating make up such a large portion of our daily lives, choosing the foods that nourish your cells and create healthy energy levels and support an active lifestyle with appropriate supplementation, these are the most important steps toward radiant health. And anybody can take these steps at any time and get started. When choosing to live a healthier and happier life, sometimes knowing where to get started is really the toughest part. And I think that Rejuveniix is the best place to begin because it makes you feel like showing up for yourself. I hear people tell me this all the time. I actually feel like exercising. I actually feel like eating healthier. I actually feel like socializing with people more when I take Rejuveniix. And because all these nutrients work together, and they not only cleanse toxins that have accumulated that might lead to aging and illness, but they're also packed with power to nourish and rebuild and cover a multitude of past poor choices. So Rejuveniix is my first choice. When I need a healthy pick-me-up, this is what I reach for because I know that it has the purity, it has exceptional potency, and it's just jam-packed with the antioxidant power that I know that I need when I need a little bit of extra lift. And you know, when looking for healthy support products, my rule of thumb is always that I never want to take any bad along with the good. And specifically when you're looking for an energy enhancement product, you know, Rejuveniix clearly wins because it is truly the choice that is all good.
Well, that's perfect. Rejuveniix is the winner. Ding, 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 ding. For value and health. You know, I could never be one of those announcers in the ring, but right now I have the urge to try to act like one. So I better end this before I sound too stupid. Marlisa, you were fantastic. It's always a pleasure being on the phone with you. For everybody who joined us tonight, I hope you understand what incredible value Rejuveniix is. Go out and search for those energy drink users and show them the beauty of Rejuveniix because you will be making their lives healthier. It's honestly, you'll make their lives healthier and they will save money. That's a win-win. So you all have a fantastic evening. Thanks for spending this hour with us. We're always honored that you spend your evenings with us to learn more about the products. And until next time, I hope you know what a great day feels like. Bye-bye, everybody.